Hey, it says that I'm live. First try. It could be lying though, I guess. Hello, everybody who is not here. There is nobody here and I'm talking to nobody. But that's okay, because people will show up. I am confident that people will show up eventually. Well, I'm waiting for people to show up. I will talk to the people who are going to be watching this later. The few of those people who watch the live stream after the live portion of the stream, because there are people that watch these after the fact when they go up on the YouTube. So I'll talk to those people while I wait for people to come in, and I will go over to the other computer and make sure that everything is working out okay. Sign in on, oh, hello from Virginia. Yeah, that is a thing that I wanted to tell people to do this week. I want to talk to you. I want to find out where everybody is that's watching the stream. So if you can tell me where you're watching from, that'd be a great way to start. Hey, Amy Gersh is here. I know where Amy Gersh is. It's Southern California, I think. Fresno, right? Is that Central California? Okay. I'm not great in American geography in terms of where things are. Actually, after the last live stream, I went and double checked that I knew where Oklahoma was, because Jesse 1119 was from there. I was like, I do know where Oklahoma is, right? But I actually thought that it was over a little bit further towards above Florida. But it turns out that those are like the Carolinas, I think, that I was thinking Oklahoma was. So I know that the stream is working because people are talking to me. I do want to pull it up, however, on my other dealie. Go to my channel. Northern Virginia, near DC. Okay. Virginia. Okay, let me think. I used to follow college football in the States pretty closely. Virginia Cavaliers football team, I think, with the crossed scimitars. Let's click on this guy and then maybe mute it so that we don't get some kind of weird double thing. And because it's easier for me to watch the chat over there than it is on the camera, which is actually my phone. I don't know if everybody knows that I record my YouTube stuff using my phone, but now you do if you didn't. And okay, so here's what I want to, everybody, tell me where you're from, where you're watching me at, and if you're having any bevies, you can tell me what you're drinking. This week I am having the Phillips Blue Buck out of Victoria, British Columbia. And we got a couple of things going this week, this month on the show. I've got this thing of names because I'm doing a Patreon exclusive giveaway in this edition. So this over here, this charcuterie board. Ellis Hansen, I am in Campbell River, British Columbia on Vancouver Island, in Canada. Pamela doesn't need to tell me where she's from because she's from upstairs. This charcuterie board I made during the Twisted Maple Slab charcuterie board video. And I'm giving this away to one of my Patreon supporters during this episode. So I've got my list of how many entries all of my people on Patreon got. I'm not going to talk about how much they each contribute to the channel, because that's how much their entries were based on the amount that they are invested. So I'm just going to, while I wait for people to show up, I am going to cut up the names. Well, I'm not going to cut up the names. I'm going to cut between the names and put them into the draw bowl. And we'll just we'll get started with the show while I'm just cutting up names. So as you're wandering in, tell me where you're at, how things are going, what kind of woodwork you do, if you do woodwork. If you don't do woodwork, it would be a little bit odd for you to watch a show about a guy who does woodwork. But that's fine. You can watch. I'm not gonna judge you. Woodworking is pretty fun to watch. I watch some things. I watch people do things that I don't do because I think it's fun. I don't play football, and sometimes I watch football. I guess that's not really the same thing, but this is probably super riveting stuff. Me cutting up names, cutting up in between names for the draw. And then after that, we will go through the month in review, what happened in the shop, what's gonna happen this month in the shop, and I'll take open Q&As. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I'll scroll back up and find them once in a while. I've got a couple to start out with from my Patreon peeps, but not a ton. So if you do have questions, it would be cool if you'd ask them so that this doesn't get really boring. But it could also just be a short show as well. I mean, it's nothing saying that this thing has to go for an hour. I'm pretty hungry, and we've got souvlakis to throw on the barbecue after this. So if nobody's talking, nobody's asking questions, I'll go make souvlaki instead. But we'll chat for as long as we need to chat for before I go make souvlakis. Is it souvlaki is plural? You wouldn't say souvlakis. Yeah? No, souvlaki is both singular and plural. Like moose. Ellis Hansen is into resin things, which is morphed into wood and resin hybrids. Little woodworking skills because girls couldn't take shop in school? What? Girls couldn't take shop in school? That's... okay. I'm a little disappointed in wherever you went to school, but that's cool. Do you turn wood and resin things, or do you making like river tables and that kind of stuff, or what kind of resin and wood combo things do you do? I've often thought that I would like to do some resin-y imbued things because those look super cool. But resin is expensive, man. I went to go look for resin, and like you'd get a jug of resin and a jug of hardener in like a combo pack to make stuff with, and you're looking at $200 worth of screwing that up the first couple times. That's crazy. I don't have that kind of money to be spending on wrecking resin. Wow, that's a thing. I guess, I don't know if being 60 is I mean, okay, I guess, you know, the world has come a long ways in the last 20 years or whatever, but I didn't realize that girls couldn't take shop at all, like even just that long ago. That's upsetting to me. Really? Even in BC, you weren't allowed to take shop before the 90s? Wow. Well, I am certainly glad that we've moved past that, I hope. I know that there's a lot of places where there just isn't shop classes as much as there were. They've been taking like music and shop and stuff out of schools because there just isn't the funding available to do them, and that's upsetting to me. But at least if the program is available, or if the class is available, they don't restrict it to guys only. God, I would rail against the system if that was the case. I want to go back in time and rail against the system. Anybody got a time machine? Who's got a DeLorean? All right, so I'm just like if you don't know what I'm doing here, I'm cutting up little names of people to go in the draw. Yeah, paperweights, small table coverings. Cool. Yeah, no, is it resin is super expensive to work with though, right, Ellis? Am I wrong about that? Or do you get way more resin out of a bit than I think you do? Because I'm looking at these jugs of resin going, there's no way. I'm totally gonna just waste $200 worth of resin trying to make like anything. Maybe it goes way further than I think it does, but I don't know. Atomic Zombie's here. I haven't seen Atomic Zombie for a little while. I'm asking people, since you just showed up, I am asking people to tell me where they're at, where they're from, etc., etc. If you want to talk about what kind of stuff you make, let's get the chat rocking. We'll get some conversation happening. I'm cutting up names for my Patreon exclusive charcuterie board giveaway today, which Rio Vista, California. See, is that south? Is that Central California? Amy Gersh is Central California. I don't know where Rio Vista is. I've never been to California. Have I been to California? I don't think I have. Yeah, if wood is a lot cheaper than resin, then resin is expensive. Because sometimes I am blown away by the price they give me when I get to the counter with my wood at the lumberyard. I'm sorry, I don't know what the delta is either. Okay, so cutting up names. I want to officially thank my Patreon supporters for helping me out over at patreon.com/woodenthings&stuff. That's whose names I'm putting into the draw right now based on their level of support. We got Amy Gersh with many, many entries. We've got Tony Lopez. Where else? We got some more here. We got brand new guy that just slipped in under the wire. Bakim Krasniki. I'm going to say I may be butchering that, but I think his name is Bakim Krasniki. He slipped in under the wire to get his name in the draw a few times by signing up the day before I closed the entries. So good work, Bakim. Charles Smith. There's a few in here. And then just Sebastian. That's all. He doesn't have a last name. He's like Cher or Prince. Just Sebastian. And it's probably Sebastien because it's I-E-N. So I'm going to guess that he's French. And his name is actually Sebastien. But I'm probably butchering that as well. The delta for non-Californians is between Sacramento and the mountains, maybe? I don't know, you hit enter too quick there, Amy. Yeah, yay for another Patreon member. I'm up to 5 Patreon members. It's great. Honestly, Patreon at this point pays me approximately the same amount per month as 10,000 views on this thing, YouTube. The ad revenue from 10,000 views is the same amount as my 5 patrons. So you guys have doubled my income from doing this. It's fantastic, and I like interacting over there as well. It's fun getting things up over there, and I don't do as much as I would like, and I do hope to do more Patreon exclusive things, but I also want to do as much free stuff, and because YouTube is pretty fun. Ellis bought a small lathe and watching lots of videos. I hope you haven't been watching my lathe videos to try and learn, because that's not a good strategy. Face shield, good. Yes. Always face shield. I didn't get hit in the face, but I did have a bowl come off pretty substantially a couple of weeks ago on my new lathe. I didn't make the recess deep enough in the bottom of the bowl before I put it in the chuck and turned it around and started doing the inside, and it broke is it a mortise when it's in the bottom of a bowl? I don't know the terms, but it snapped off and flew off, and if it would have been going the other direction, it probably would have got me in the face. It got the wall, but wife, the wall is fine. I don't have to fix the wall. Okay, so what do we got? Do we have an agenda for this meeting? Not really. I got all the names cut up for the draw, and I'm gonna put them in. I have various things that I could put them in. Let's put them in the walnut. The yellow cedar and walnut bowl is going to be an upcoming video on the channel, which was the recovery from a fail video that I had a couple of months ago when I made a bunch of these bowl blanks. And I bought a new lathe so that I could make bigger, heavier things. And this was the first thing, well, not the first thing I put up on the lathe, but the first thing I turned to finish on the lathe. And so let's put them all in here. There's my pile of names going in there. We'll do that draw in a little bit. Let's start with some other stuff. What should we start with? How many people we got? We still only have 5 people. That's not enough people. I'll put my scissors back. I don't need those anymore. That's okay. We'll hang out. We'll talk about the month in review, I guess. I made myself a reminder of what's been happening and what's been going on and what I'm supposed to be doing next month. This month isn't next month. July is now. So back in June, way back in June, we started out the month with like I said, the charcuterie boards made from a big twisted maple slab that I'm giving one away today to my Patreon peeps. That was a fun project, actually. I took one of these big 4/4 maple slabs that's all twisted and wonky. I chopped it into a bunch of charcuterie boards with some accent woods in it. And then I did a science. And then I did a science thing. I made a batch of cherry-based charcuterie boards and put them all out in the sun to see, for various lengths of time, to see how quickly the color change happens in cherry when it gets UV. And it took 3 days to get any sort of results that were worth talking about. And it turns out that, well, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the video, turns out that you can just give them a couple hours and that's about as good as you're going to get in terms of kickstarting the process of turning cherry into its cherryness, cherryosity. And then I did my first lidded box video. All of these videos were stuff that I actually did in what's the month before June? May. I did all of this stuff in May, and I was continuing to roll out the videos from the stuff. So my first lidded box video went out earlier this month as well. And then the kitchen shelves project that was just a quick in between other things storage solution for the kitchen video, which was, I think, a great improvement to the kitchen. And then my friend Jackie's birthday present lidded box with a little finial on the top was the last. Actually, that video, I think, technically went up in July, but I'm going to count it because it's before now. So I'm going to count it as June. Is it the 3rd? It's the 3rd. I think it went up yesterday. But it's June. That counts as June. And then in July, we'll see if anybody got any convo happening here. Chris Pinnell's here. Hello, East Coast. Did I have a good Canada Day? I had a fine Canada Day. This is the first Canada Day for a long time that we didn't go out and do stuff. You know, there wasn't Canada Day events, there wasn't fireworks, there wasn't markets, there wasn't, you know, with the COVID. So we hung around the house. I had some shop time. And then I barbecued and had some drinks, and yeah, it was pretty low key. It was the lowest key Canada Day that I've had for quite some time. But it was also kind of nice to not be out in crowds. Even in the best of years, being out in Canada Day crowds is really not my thing. It's just, they're just so hectic and loud and people everywhere. And so honestly, it's a little bit, I was okay with it, to be fair. I can be proud. I can be a proud Canadian without being surrounded by other people being proud Canadians. Yeah. July. What's coming up in July? I still have stuff from May to roll out on YouTube in July. The new lathe station build, I have already edited and processed, and it's gonna probably be Monday in terms of video release. That was me taking some old drawer cabinet type things that I've had forever and turning them into something usable. Am I missing stuff? There's people talking on that screen, but not talking on this screen. Some kind of dichotomy happening. Anyway, the lathe station project was probably the main project for May, I would say, in terms of complexity. And it was actually just taking the top level of drawers off a couple of cabinets and then putting a new piece on top. Chris Pinnell, are there more lathe projects coming? Yes, there are more lathe projects coming. I got some things, some show and tell over here that I'm going to get to in a few minutes. The new lathe unboxing and setup video to go on my new lathe station is coming up in the next couple of weeks. Then the yellow cedar and walnut bowl that my names are in for the draw, the Patreon exclusive draw, that's the first lathe video on the new lathe. And then I'm hoping to get back to the what's my favorite tool right now series, because that was always fun to do and it was quick and easy piece of content for people, and people seem to respond well to it. So I'm hoping to get back to that in July. And my guitar rack that I just started a couple of days ago and is almost done, and we'll do a show and tell on in a few minutes here, would possibly, depending on the video release schedule and things, how many I get edited when and all that stuff, it might be a July video as well. And in terms of stuff that I made, the The people demand more Sven. Yes, I know they do. Okay? He's not always applicable. I do want to get Sven out here a little bit more often and making stuff and helping me out, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. He isn't doing the school anymore, so at least he's more available for stuff. We'll get you more Sven, Chris. I promise. And now I got where do those go? Where do you think those go? Those thoughts when you're in the middle of thinking a thing and you get distracted for a second and then it's just completely gone. Where does that thought go? It's just, is it still rattling around or is it gone? And you just have to find it again. Doesn't matter. Projects. Is that where I was? The June projects that I did. The reason that I don't have a ton of new videos coming up from new projects, I have a few, but I don't have too many more because I spent a week of June in bed with back pain because I threw my back out. And then the other 3 weeks of the month, I was working on a record crate commission that I didn't film because it was a record crate that I already have filmed and have on the channel. Another monster cutting board, like a big 2.5 inch thick juice groove finger holded cutting board that I did on commission, but I already have a cutting board video, so I didn't record that one. It's actually kind of nice. Those 2 projects were kind of nice. It's been a while since I've made anything that I didn't have to like move the camera around and set up shots and stuff while I was doing it. It was nice to just let loose and just work. So that's the reason that I don't have a lot of project videos coming from June, is because most of my time was spent making stuff that I already have videos for. But I did, with the time that I was in the shop not doing commissions for people, I was mucking around on my new lathe. So I'll show you some of these things. Oh, this is the cherry charcuterie board example of the sun tanning experiment that I was doing, and that's why this is out here. I get this. This is the second after the yellow cedar walnut one. I threw this cherry bowl blank up, and I made I think it's kind of a fun bowl design. And I put some little ridges in the bottom, give it a little bit of texture. And I left the sap wood on the 2 outside bits, and I thought that turned out pretty good. I don't think I wasn't filming this though. I was just I was trying to focus on learning and not screwing things up. So the first couple of experiments on the new lathe, I didn't film, but I will show them to you. So this was the cherry one that I did. And then I did a maple one in the same kind of style. It's a little bit bigger. It's got some interesting things happening in it, with no ridges on the bottom. And I could have probably gone a little bit deeper with this one, but got scared. And my carbide tools, my little carbide lathe tools, once you get a little ways over the tool rest, they start to not cut very well and they get chattery and scrapey. And so I got to the point where they started doing that, and I just pulled the sandpaper out and just finished it. So this one's a little bit heavy on the bottom, but it gives it some heft, which is okay. And this was the first time that I burnished anything on the lathe as well. I took some lathe shavings and I burnished it, and it gave it a little bit of a burnt rim around the top, which I liked, so I kind of mimicked it on the bottom. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. And that, I didn't hate it. I still don't hate it. It's fine. But this one came off the lathe too. I don't know if you'll be able to see. It's got some little bits of where it bonked things when it came off. But these are learning things for me, and like I still think it'll look cool sitting out on a table someplace with some stuff in it. I need more tool length on my side of the tool rest. We're gonna get to that. I've partially remedied that situation, but I'm going through the show and tell right now, Chris. Then I made this little walnut guy. He's pretty nice. I like him. I made it's kind of a double cove kind of bowl. And I tried to do the same thing on the inside to mimic that. So it's got a couple of little, but it's a smooth bottomed with just kind of a ridge to match the ridge here. And it's little, but it would be great for like, I don't know, sour cream on a nacho platter or something. This was one of the better ones. What else? Well, I had another one come off. He's over there. Should I go get it? I'll go get it. This is the one that came off and slammed into the wall because I didn't make my recess big enough. So it broke the mortise or whatever. And it came flying off, and then it jammed into the lathe, and then it slammed into the wall and did a big thing over here. And that's how far down I got before it did that. So I put it aside. Maybe I'll try to recover it at some point, because it's still like a nice blank that I should be able to do something with. But that pissed me off because I thought I was actually catching on. I thought I was like getting the hang of this. And that thing came flying off and upset me. And then that day, after that one upset me, I just took a piece of 8/4 Meranti, and I was going to make a little dish, just a little change dish or something with it. And I got the bottom done, and I liked it. It had little ridges, and it was all decorative. And then I started doing the inside, and I went too deep, and I went through. But, you know, I'm learning, and that piece of Meranti, at least, was essentially free because it came out of a batch of like $100 for a huge amount of scrap hardwood from a guy's garage. So that one at least was free. The bowl was not free. But am I done with this list? Oh, yeah, okay, so the upcoming July projects. The guitar rack, I have to finish the guitar rack, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And then the next couple after that are finally going to be organizing and making hangers for all my saws and joinery chisels and marking and measuring things for the cabinet. Now it's too far away now, I can't close it. And then once I get all of that stuff organized, I can get my planes from over there, my old like Craigslist pickup $15 planes that I buy because I can't help myself. All of those ones can go up on this side of the tool wall where my saws and measuring and marking things are going in there, and I can finish my plane wall, and then that opens up that area over there, so I could possibly make either a cabinet for over there or another station of some kind, probably for sharpening. Make a sharpening station over there right beside the lathe, because I finally got my first actual good lathe tool, like old high-speed steel non-carbide bowl gouge, and it's a big guy. It's a 16-inch handle, so it's probably, well, let's just measure it. Maybe not. It's about 26 inches long, and I had the guy like actually sharpen it into the fingernail profile that it's supposed to be, and I've been using it, and that's what I did this little guy with. Did it exclusively with this, and I've been practicing a little bit with it and getting better, but I need to have a place to sharpen it, and So I need to get a grinder and have a place to have that set up so that I can just quick go sharpen, touch it up, go back to the work. So might set up a sharpening station over there by the lathe. Yeah. Now I need another few $100s in sharpening gear. That's exactly it. That's why I've been sticking with the carbide for as long as I have, is because I know that the sharpening thing is not free or cheap. I mean, those carbide tips are like $10 and they'll last you a couple of months. So that sounds better to me than a couple $100 laid out for a grinder. But I think that is the direction that I need to go in order to get better at this. So, and it's so much more fun, honestly, to be like cutting ribbons of wood off of the blank than it is to like have the sawdust and little shaving bits from carbide tools. It's just way more fun there's more finesse and there's more different. It's more skill development, which is good for your brain, involved in turning with the high-speed steel, old school. Where's that go? Where's my hole? Okay, put it in that one. And then, so it'll be either the main July project, other than the guitar rack, will be either a sharpening station for over by the lathe or a birdhouse. Because summer's woodworking birdhouse challenge has started up again, and so he's got prizes and things for people that make birdhouses, and I've never made a birdhouse, so I might make a birdhouse if I get time. And I have to make a bunch of stuff because there is a market, believe it or not, happening in the middle of August that I've signed up for. So I got to make a bunch of charcuterie boards, and well, I'm gonna make a bunch of these little lidded boxes and some more bowls and stuff to take to that. I've got pen turning gear coming as well from Penn State Industries. I got a bunch of pen things coming, a pen mandrel and a bunch of pen hardware, and so I'm looking forward to trying making pens. That'll be fun. But I don't know if it's supposed to be showing up in a couple of weeks, but who knows these days with shipping. Where is the market going to be located? Mark Bergen asks. It is down at the Crow's Nest Gallery in Willow Point in Campbell River, beside Shell and the Coastland Vet. Chris Bonnell, 8-inch slow speed grinder and Wolverine jig. Yeah, I am thinking I was actually looking at the Rikon 8-inch slow speed grinder. Seems like a pretty good value. It's $175-ish, and I can work with that for a bit, probably before I go full on with the Wolverine jig, because that's another what are those? Those are another $150 or something just for the jig to hold your tool. The other cool thing is the guy that I bought the tool from said that I can come in anytime and like he'll sharpen it for me and tune it up and show me how to do it and all that stuff. So that's an advantage. But he's in the next town over, so I'd have to bring it down with me when I go down there. And I go down there like once every couple of weeks, so it doesn't really help like when I'm in the middle of a bowl and I need it to be sharpened. Okay, let's go to Patreon exclusive draw time. And Amy Gersh definitely, again, has she had the best chance to win the last draw, but not by as much as she has the best chance to win this draw. Because she has an over 50% chance this time of winning. Last time it was like based on how many of my Q&A videos you asked a question on, and there were 5 of them, and she had one on all 5. And I think she was the only one who had one on all 5, but she was like 5 entries and other people had 4 and 3 and stuff. She's over half of the entries in this box This is not a box. This is a bowl. The odds, I know the odds are never in your. I have to close this door because it's bothering me. There's my guy again. He's coming to say hi. What up, buddy?
Hey.
Hey. Are you watching?
Oh no.
No, you're not in there watching?
I just saw Mom upstairs and thought I'd pop in.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Hey.
Okay. So, that was my boy. That's my Sven. Okay, I'm gonna have another beer. Oh, now I can watch over there. There's a little delay so I can see. Okay, so we're all cheering for Amy Gersh to win. I'm gonna not look. I gotta hold it up here. All right, I got one. Guess who? Okay. Oh. It's backwards. Can you read it backwards? Amy Gersh. Look at that. There was a probably about a 45% chance that she did not win that. But thank you to Charles Smith, Tony Lopez, Sebastien, and the new guy, Bakeem, where is he? What's his last name? I feel so bad now. Krasniki. Bakeem, thanks to all my patrons for all your support over there. Amy, I will send you this guy right here on Monday. Let's see what else is going on. Chris Pinnell, I used a small hand sharpener to touch up my lathe tools between sharpening before I had my own gear. Yeah, I've been watching Sean over on Worth the Effort, and that's what he said too. He said once you get it sharp, you get like a little slipstone, and you can just like real quick in between. But if you let it get too bad, that's not a thing that you want to be doing. So that's probably going to be my plan of attack too. I'll like figure out how to sharpen this one gouge for a while on a slow speed grinder, and then I'll try to just keep it sharp by touching it up. But we will see. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Do I have the 7 Chaos Emeralds? Don't know what that means. Andy Wyatt, hey, where are you at, fellow Canuck? People have been telling me where they are. If you came late, I appreciate people telling me where they're located and what they make, if they make things, and what kind of work they do. It's from Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh, you know what? You're right. I haven't played Sonic the Hedgehog since Sega Genesis in like 1989 or something. So, yeah. I did see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Did you see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie? My kid was excited to see it, so we went and saw it. And it was not as bad as I thought it should have been. It was not a waste of my time. What else can we do? I've done the month in review and the month look forward, and I've done the draw, and I've done the show and tell. Now let's look at the guitar rack. All right, so this is the system that I've come up with for the guitar rack. This is my roll of cork I use. I'll show you that. They did these 2 side slat pieces have come out of the Home Depot pine shelves, the pre-laminated shelving things. And then I've got some Douglas fir that I square stocked up to make little beams. These ones on an angle so that the guitar rests in there. And then I'm gonna put some dowels coming out from here. to go in between the necks. So I believe this guitar rack is probably going to hold 7 or 8 guitars, something like that, which will be almost all of my guitars, and it will definitely be an organizational improvement in the room that I keep my guitars in. So that's the current project underway. Probably finish that this weekend, actually. I'm pretty happy with how it's coming together. Just making it on the fly and not really thinking things through. So sometimes it's fun to just play around and see what comes out. But that's the current thing that I'm working on. And then, like I said, after that, I'm gonna dig into the hangers and everything for the saws and marking materials and measuring stuff and whatever for the cabinet. No, I have not played Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't think I played Sonic the Hedgehog since Sonic 2. What kind of wood would be good for a mallet, asks Ellis Hansen. Where's my mallet? Well, I've got these guys. This is Padauk and maple on a maple handle. This is walnut and maple. This is my giant, this was the first mallet that I made before I knew how big a mallet should be. I just made this giant mallet, and there's no need for a mallet to be this big. I even I got BBs in there and stuff. That's unnecessary. This joinery mallet that I made. This was my getting over the fear of the lathe video on my channel, was me making this joinery mallet. This is red oak and maple. I would say in general, don't be precious about your mallet. If you're going to use it, use the hardest wood that you can find for cheap and make a mallet out of it. And if you break it, make another one. Making tools that are designed for whacking stuff, I would just use the cheapest wood that I could find that's hard. So that's why this one's red oak, because I had a big 4x4 chunk of red oak. And I use maple for the handles because it's cheap, and I've got a bunch. So side pieces look nice. Yeah, I you know what happened with those side pieces on the guitar rack is that I was just going to cut a triangle because I just needed 2 spots at the bottom for rails and 1 at the top. So I was just going to cut a triangle, and I was like, well, no, that's pretty lame. Let's add some curves. So it was going to be sort of a curvy triangle. And then I started drawing it, and the lines started crossing and coming back on each other, and I just kind of liked it. So I went, okay, well, maybe let's make it sort of like vines or something that go like that. And yeah, I don't dislike it. We'll see. I don't know how I'm gonna finish it though, because I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and we were talking about how you don't want it to look too cool and take away from the fact that there's a bunch of guitars there. You don't want the guitar rack to pull the focus from the guitars. So I might paint it. I haven't decided yet. I'm kind of thinking at this point I might paint the side pieces and stain the Douglas fir cross pieces. But made me think of flames. Yeah, nothing's more punk than flames and guitars. It's true, but I'm not really a punk guitar. Yeah, I don't know. It's we'll see how it turns out. I haven't decided how to finish it up, and that'll probably be what is the determining factor of how cool it looks and what vibe it gives off is what finish I do on it. I think at this point I'm leaning towards just painting the sides black and staining the cross members, and then just doing a clear coat of lacquer or something. Andy Wyatt, do you ever go to Busy Bee? I know you are a Lee Valley guy. I have never gone to Busy Bee. I don't know where there is a Busy Bee out here. I don't. I go to Lee Valley because they have high quality stuff, and there's one down in Colwood, and they will ship for free to my door. So Busy Bee, I don't even know if there is one in Western Canada. I know it's there. Busy Bee is big out east in Ontario and etc. I know Vic Teslin just signed up with Busy Bee, but I don't honestly I don't know anything about them. So where are you at, Andy? Are you in Ontario? Are you out east someplace? Because I don't know of any Busy Bees west of the Rocky Mountains for sure. Might be what there might be one in Calgary or Edmonton or something, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna hang out if anybody wants to talk about stuff. Then I'm gonna go make souvlaki. London, Ontario. My family came from London, Ontario. My mom and dad both grew up. Actually, my dad grew up in Windsor. My mom grew up in London, Ontario. I've been to London a few times in my childhood. Chris Pinnell, how's the wood hoarding? Well, I still haven't purchased any more wood since the big stack of Douglas fir that I had moved around the back of the house that wasn't specifically for a commission. So I did buy the walnut, padauk, and maple for the monster cutting board that I just made. But I don't call that buying wood because I'm buying it to go straight into the project that is now getting delivered. And although I could have probably made it out of the walnut and maple and padauk that I had on hand, I thought because somebody was paying $275 for a cutting board, I should buy the wood specifically for the project. And yeah, that's about it. The wood hoarding is actually going okay. That I haven't been purchasing wood that wasn't specifically destined for a project that had been paid for that was then going to be delivered. There's a Busy Bee Tools in New Westminster. Well, maybe the next time I get on a ferry. So 2022, I'll maybe check out the Busy Bee Tools in New West. Yeah, I don't really want to get on a ferry. I'm going to scroll up and see if I missed anything in terms of questions or stuff that I can comment on. No, not really. You guys want me to just shut her down? I can go make souvlaki. Fat. What's the cost of walnut there? I'm in the southern interior and it's almost $20 a board foot. Yeah. That's I generally buy 4/4 shorts. So it's all the like stuff with a little bit of extra defect and a little bit of extra sapwood that you have to cut away and varying lengths. And I get it for about $10 a board foot for that stuff. But if I'm buying like number one walnut, I don't even know if that's a term, but like the good stuff walnut, yeah, it's like $20 a board foot, man. It sucks. How often do I live stream? I do one of these on the first Friday of every month at 5:30 p.m. and it's sort of my month in review, look forward, open Q&A session. And once in a while, I'll do one when I have a giveaway or something, or I think I want to start doing a little bit more live stuff, just mucking around in the shop. But in terms of schedule, I'm on the first Friday of the month. Pay less than $10. Okay, well, let's be fair. $10 USD is 13. So, and it's coming, our walnut is coming from down there. So it doesn't have as far to go for you, and it doesn't have to cross a border and go through brokerage fees and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'd pay $10 board foot US dollars, and I'd buy a lot more than I probably wouldn't buy a lot more than I already do. But you know, I don't find it that bad to be buying the shorts for $10 a board foot and then cutting away what I can't use, because it's still, if you pick through the pallet, you can find enough good wood in the shorts that it's, to me, it's still a better price than buying the good stuff at $20. Yeah, most of our walnut comes from Oregon, I think. So it's probably going not as far to get to you, and it has to come across the water and all that stuff. So I get why wood is as expensive as it is. It just hurts when you go in and you buy one stick and it's like $37. You're like, ugh. Thanks for coming, Ellis. I appreciate it. You make sure that you're subscribed and you click the notification button, and then you don't have to try to remember. Also, if you follow me on Instagram, you get a much more timely rundown of what things are happening in the shop, because I'm posting over there a lot. So like just yesterday, you would have found out about my guitar rack that is probably going to be a month out from YouTube video release. Forget that you're on an island. I don't think the island part of it affects it as much as the cross border, because I emailed a company in Oregon to see like if it could be cheaper to just order it direct and pay. And they said, well, we can't actually ship across the border without going through a broker, which is why it costs more. If you would, as soon as wood comes across borders, there's all kinds of like restrictions and extra fees and documentation and stuff that needs to happen. So that's, you know what, I bet you guys probably, well, no, you probably don't, but I've heard that like people in other places pay a ton of money for Douglas fir, and I don't understand that, because I basically get it. I can get it essentially for free. Like it's everywhere, and like I mean, when I say basically for free, I mean comparatively speaking. But yeah, people other places love getting Douglas fir, and I really don't like working with it very much, but it's super cheap and it's pretty. So like I use it a fair bit, and I guess people pay like a lot of money for Douglas fir other places, but that's the same as, you know, I've heard people don't pay very much money in like southern states and stuff for like hickory and sassafras and cool woods like that. And I would love to pay cheap prices for cool southern US wood. It'd be awesome. Same price as poplar? What's the same price as poplar? Douglas fir? Or walnut? How much are you paying for poplar? I don't think I've ever actually used poplar, because I don't see it at the store. I don't know why that is. Yeah, Douglas fir. I guess that would make sense, because I guess poplar is sort of like the cheap hardwood, but I don't even see it at my hardwood dealer. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but I hear it can be pretty. It can have like blues and greens and purples and streaks and stuff in it. But I also hear people disparage it, maybe just because they're snobs and it's inexpensive and therefore no good. I don't know. Anybody enjoying any beverages tonight? This is not very many people. There's not as many people as there was last month. But I think the conversation is better. I think the people are talking more. Fat. I used to build wood windows. Wood windows? Oh, like cedar. So much they developed an allergy to cedar. I've heard that actually, if you work with cedar a lot, you can get a really, really bad allergy to it. I don't use a ton of cedar. I have some, and it's another one of the ones that's relatively inexpensive sometimes here, because we have giant cedars. But I don't use it a lot because it's soft and it dents easy. What do you mean by wood windows? Like shutters and window frames and stuff? Because a wooden window would not be very effective. Call poplar common whitewood. It's inexpensive and works better than pine. Well, pine doesn't work well at all. So, yeah. Cold glass of water. Is it hot down in California? You guys aren't starting on fire yet, are you? God, I hope you guys don't start on fire again. Amy, that was like a couple of years in a row, or like 2 out of 3 or something. You guys had like started on fire. Window sashes and doors. Yeah, that's cool. I thought about making some wooden blinds, like the slat ones that you attach to little dealies, and then you can turn them with the thing. Well, I know California burns every year, but not like some years, though. I mean, BC burns every year too, but there are some years where like huge swaths of the population get evacuated. Hot and humid in Virginia. I hate humidity. There was a couple of days last month where it wasn't that hot, but I was sweltering out here, and I was like, what? It's only like 15 degrees, and I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I'm sorry, but it wasn't that hot, but I was just dripping. And then I heard on the radio, it was like, yeah, but it's going to feel more like 25. And I'm like, yeah, okay. That makes sense. The last few years of fires were very bad. Yeah, we had a bad year. Is it 3 years ago now? 2 years ago? Like, I guess it also depends on like where the fire happens in relation to population density, right? Like, you know, we had a bad year a couple of years ago for fires, but it only felt worse. I was looking back on it afterwards, and the number of hectares that burned was actually significantly less than lots of years, but it was closer to bigger populations. So it felt bad. 110. What is 110 in Celsius? Somebody do some calculations for me. July is 110 plus in Central California. Is that like 35, 40? What is that? I want to say that's like Saskatchewan summer temperatures. 41, 45. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's I know that feeling. I spent my first 18 years growing up in southern Saskatchewan in the middle of the prairies, and we get 40, 41, 45, and it's like you slather on the sunscreen, you just go out in it because you don't have anything else to do. And I was a kid, so I couldn't like drink. You find shade where you can, and cold beverage. I drank a lot of orange Gatorade as a kid. That was my go-to in the summer, was orange Gatorade powder in the big canister, and we'd just keep jugs of it in the fridge. Anybody else? Questions? That's an hour, so I can be done anytime and go cook souvlaki. This has been another fun session, though. You know what? Maybe I'll do these every 2 weeks instead of every month. This is fun. I will have they would be much shorter, though, because I wouldn't have as much to say. Cook what? I'm cooking souvlaki. You know, meat on a stick. You guys don't do souvlaki on the East Coast? You guys would do it with fish, probably. Oh, stereotype. How's everybody doing with the COVID and the isolation and the change of the world? Oh, this is a great thing to get into right at the end of a stream. Why would you say that? Why would you open that right at the end, like an hour into your thing? Ugh. Maybe we'll talk about that next month. Maybe we'll all be as best as we can, and we'll just do as best we can. We'll live as happy and as healthy as we can. And we'll be as kind to each other as we can. And live too close to DC. I'm not going to get into a political thing, but man, yeah, I hear you. Yes, Amy's right. Stay safe, wear the mask, treat people well. Fat down in the Kootenays. Good thoughts. Yep. Good thoughts. Stay positive, stay pleasant, and stay treating each other the way that that's such a cliche. Treat people the way you want to be treated, but it's a cliche for a reason. You know? Like, don't be an asshole because you don't like it when people are an asshole, right? Like, doesn't that make sense? I'm gonna get angry. I don't want to get angry. I don't want to get 3 beer angry on my live stream. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, feels like everybody's pretty much on the same page. I appreciate that. I'm gonna sign off unless anybody has any specific things they want me to talk about. And I'm gonna go cook some souvlaki, some roasted potatoes. Oh, I did. Somebody asked me charcoal or propane. I think I saw that, and then I didn't answer it. Excuse me. I was propane, but then I bought a new barbecue that hooks right into the natural gas line of the house. So now I'm natural gas. And it's fantastic because I never have to worry about not having propane or going to fill the tank or having an extra tank in case I run out of propane. It's just glorious. But unfortunately, the conversion kit that we got for the barbecue, because instead of buying a barbecue that was designed for natural gas, we bought a new barbecue that's like a convertible that you can just add a $50 conversion kit to. But I don't think that the holes in the burners are big enough for natural gas to burn quite as properly. That was a weird way to say that. And so it doesn't quite get as hot as I think it should, but I can cook on 550 all day. So yeah, a natural gas barbecue. Okay, I'm gonna shut her down. I appreciate everybody stopping by. See you next time. Thank you all for stopping in. Mark this on your calendar for when? What's the first Monday of August? Oh, it's almost August. It's my birthday in August. Maybe I'll do a live stream on my birthday. You know what? I'm going to do a bonus live stream on my birthday in August. Rib roast on your Primo charcoal grill. Nice. That sounds awesome. I grilled ribs the other maybe a week ago now. That was good. I've been I've been grilling. We got that barbecue maybe a month and a half ago, and I think I've not cooked on it maybe 7 nights. All right. Yes, keep your stick on the ice. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, and be kind to each other. And don't be an asshole. Because you don't like it when people are assholes. So don't be one. Okay? That's as simple and straightforward as I can put it. If you're thinking about being an asshole, stop what you're doing. Bye for now. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. That's my typical sign off, and that's live. I don't have to do my typical sign off. Cheers. Happy July. Happy almost American Canada Day tomorrow. Later. Thanks.